Hey everyone, welcome back to Lingoni English. My name is Emily.
And I'm Brian.
And in this video, we're going to give you some useful tips on how to improve your vocabulary.
Let's take a look.
All right.
So tip number 1, find new words and write them down. So simple as that. So when you're watching a movie or a TV show, maybe you're reading a book, maybe you even see a sign on the street. If you see a word you don't know, write it down, look it up, and this will help you memorize.
Yeah, you can do this with a piece of paper or on your phone, or you can even take pictures of signs, for example, to check back later. Tip number 2, repetition. Repetition is key when you're learning new vocabulary. So, review it a few times the moment you learn it. Come back to it 20 minutes later. Come back to it later that evening, the next day, the next week. Keeping space in between the times you learn will really ensure that you actually remember the word and it's in your long-term memory.
That's right. Another way to call this is spaced repetition. So use spaced repetition when learning vocab. And one of the ways that I do this is by number 3, making recordings. So this can look a bunch of different ways, but sometimes what I do is if I'm trying to learn a target word or some vocabulary, I'll make a recording where I'll say the word in English, and then I'll give myself a moment to think of the word in German. And then in the recording, I'll say the word in German, maybe twice. So when I make a recording that's about 5 or 10 minutes long, I'll just be going for a walk or living my life, cleaning my apartment, and I'll just listen to the recording and sort of quiz myself this way.
That brings us to number 4, using flashcards. Although this is one of the more popular ways people learn vocabulary, you can actually trick yourself into thinking you know a word when it's actually not in your long-term memory. So, this is a great way to learn things quickly, but I would supplement it with other ways of retaining vocabulary.
Point number 5 to help you learn vocab is by playing word games. So things like crossword puzzles, playing Scrabble or Taboo, this helps you, just use the words. And this gives you exposure to the words and helps you memorize them better.
Also with games like Taboo, you need to come up with synonyms, and that's another fun way to group words together to learn their meanings and practice. Which brings us to number 6, learning words in context. So when you learn a word, you don't want to just learn the word by itself. Learning something in context means you're learning more than just one word. You're learning the meaning, what other ways people use it, what situations people use it in, and this will help it stick in your long-term memory so much better.
Tip number 7 is to learn words in bulk, so in groups or categories. So for example, some really easy ones to learn in bulk are numbers or all the colors. So if you focus on these, it feels really satisfying to learn all of these words together, and then you know a whole group of them.
Moving on to number 8. One of my favorite ways to learn new vocabulary is using mnemonic devices.
I like that one too.
Yeah, it's a good one. Sometimes creating a funny image or making a song out of a few words will help it stick to your brain a little bit better. For example, when I was learning German, the word for table is Tisch. One of my best friend's last name is Tesch. So I pictured him sitting on a table, and every time I needed to think of the word for table, it was so easy because I had that funny picture in my mind.
Tip number 9 is to look back at words' histories or the way that they relate back to other languages. So for example, the German word for friend is Freund. And if you already speak English and you're learning the word friend in German, then all you have to think of is, okay, well, it's Freund in German and friend in English. They're so similar. That will help you. Plus, the history of a word is like the story behind the word. Giving something context, like we said, or building a story behind it helps you memorize it.
Definitely. And that brings us to our last point, and maybe the most important one. Use the Lingoni English app. There's a whole section just for vocabulary in our interactive exercises, videos, and worksheets. Also, on top of that, you can use really any kind of exercise to increase your vocabulary, as long as you seek out new words and practice using them.
That's right. So there you have it, 10 tips on how to learn vocabulary in your target language. Thanks for watching Lingoni English. Again, don't forget to check out our app. We'll see you there.
Wait, am I doing the intro?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey everyone!
So for example, I don't have one, but if I did, that would be really helpful right now.
We're going to help you. No.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Etymology, just stick to etymology.